Hey buddies, friends, guys, dudes, how's it going? Ash here, welcome back to Gents. Today I'm coming at you guys with 10 different long-lasting, really versatile fragrances that are perfect for the office or just work in general. I would say though, that realistically, any fragrance can be an office fragrance if you just don't really care. So I mean, hey, you wanna wear Secretions Magnifique to work? Now it's a work fragrance because you wore it there. Is it gonna go over all that well? No, it's gonna go over like the Hindenburg, but you know, hey, you do you, man. So while you could say anything is potentially an office fragrance, just like you could say anything technically could be a date fragrance, we're covering scents today that I think most people would be in agreement smell nice at the office. Each one of these is gonna be linked in the description. Feel free to check them out down there. And feel free to check out these codes as always. Look at those right on the screen. That's the power of editing, man. It's like magic. But enough of that. Let's talk the fragrance. And we shall begin with this fragrance, none other than Versace Aros EDP. That's right, the EDP. I think you can wear any Aros to the office. And this is something that I've campaigned on for a while, I feel like. That Aros is not just a clubbing fragrance because it gets pigeonholed like that. It's very sad. But that's something that just, you know, happens in general. Things get pigeonholed, whether we're talking about actors or authors or musicians or really anything that you can pigeonhole, things will be holed in the pigeon. No, I don't think that works. But it happens. So with Aros, people, you know, they smelled it and they were like, hey, this has good performance. It's a little bit loud, it's a little bit sweet, kind of youthful. That means it's for the club. But no, you can wear this pretty much anywhere. I would say, obviously, you shouldn't spray as much on as if you were going to a club wearing this fragrance because it does have good projection, good longevity, and it will get you noticed. So especially if you're in an office with, you know, those special kinds of people who complain about smells, then you wanna dial it down a little bit. You gotta love that, yeah. The whole smell thing, smell-free offices, where you have some random person who is completely fine, you know, all day long, but then if they catch that you're wearing something, buddy, you're in trouble. Gonna start giving you the fake hacking cough fit and then go to management. I can't breathe! Oh, he's got 2 sprays of a fragrance on, oh God! You know anybody like that? Kick them off a building. Don't actually do that. Versace Aros Eau de Parfum, stuff rules. All right, let's go with this one next. This is Low DC Param, and this is their new Vetiver Jam. So Low DC Vetiver, this one runs you about 50 bucks nowadays on discount websites. If you're watching this in the future, who knows how much it is. Could be less, could be more. Really clean, sparkling, fresh vetiver. So not that vetiver that you have to be afraid of if you're one of those people that hates vetiver. Almost has like a ginger ale kind of feeling to it, like a ginger ale vetiver fragrance. That's kind of how this is. So if you like ginger ale, that kind of effervescent sparkling soda, you may like this. It's basically a fragrance version of that with a nice clean woodiness underneath. Now this is not a loud fragrance as far as the projection goes. Aros Eau de Parfum projects much more than this one does, but it has good staying power off my skin, and it's a perfect fragrance for you know, spring and summer daytime office wear. Let's go niche. Up next we have Santal Volcanique. This is from Maison Crivelli, and when you see that name, Santal Volcanique, you might think, oh man, this is gonna be really smoky, dark, heavy, maybe have lava as a note, which sounds stupid, but there are actually fragrances out there with lava as a note, which doesn't make a ton of sense, but I mean, a lot of things with fragrances don't make sense, so let's just roll with it. Now, this guy right here does not smell, you know, smoky or volcanic at all. Actually, it is reminiscent of some discontinued, fantastic men's fragrances from years gone by, which is why I like it. It has a little touch of Gucci Envy, a slight touch, which got a couple bottles of that hanging out right behind me, but it smells more similar to Dolce & Gabbana's By Man. And that is By Man, B-Y Man, in case you are unaware of the fragrance. Really, that one is more for people who were around decades ago, like me, old. But it has a really nice warm, spicy feel to it that's not like super sweet as most fragrances nowadays would be that are more on the warm, spicy side of things. It does make use of sandalwood, which is the Santal and Santal Volcanique. Really nice woodiness to it, and it's one that I think comes across very classy, very masculine smelling. So if you dig fragrances from that time frame, you know, Gucci, Envy, etc., then check this one out. Now this next one you may not think of as an office fragrance, kind of like you wouldn't necessarily think of Aros as one, but it absolutely works, and it is Bad Boy Cobalt. Yeah, Cobalt. Interesting. The one that looks like a lightning bolt, a tacky as heck, can be a good office fragrance. Yes, that is correct. Really nice sweetness off the top. Actually, the opening to this smells really good. Very much an attention-grabbing opening. It has plum as one of the notes, also has truffle as one of the notes, which when you look at that, you would think, oh, nah, I don't really want to smell like mushroom. You know, that doesn't sound like it'd be very pleasant. But don't worry, it doesn't really actually smell like truffles. So this one is a solid compliment puller. It does lean more youthful than the last couple fragrances that we've talked about. And while it has very good performance, it's not overwhelming with the sweetness or just overwhelming in general. So it still has that usability when you're going to be surrounded by Karens. Little aromatic flair to it, nice vetiver as it dries down. And it's absolutely not just an office fragrance. Really, I wouldn't say any of these are just office fragrances, but this one you can use about anywhere. It's almost an all-season scent. As is this, Bleu de Chanel Parfum. Realistically, any Bleu de Chanel. Eau de Toilette, Eau de Parfum, Parfum, take your choice. All of them extremely classy. All of them easy to wear. All of them people pleasers. You know the drill. It's the second best selling men's fragrance line in the United States, probably the world. Bleu de Chanel Parfum is the most mature of the line to date, assuming they come out with a new flanker at some point. I would assume the next one is going to be even more amplified than this one, right? The elixir coming. But Bleu de Chanel Parfum is a very classy, woody fragrance with an extremely inviting opening. It's elegant, it's sophisticated, it's mature without smelling dated. Young guys can still pull this off as well. It's Bleu de Chanel, dude, come on. Of course, Bleu de Chanel is a good office fragrance. It's so obvious. Then we're going with Creed's Viking, also known as Creed's take on Old Spice, which maybe that doesn't sound all that great, but Old Spice would work too, so hey. Ooh, I don't like that. Extremely fresh and brisk with that kind of barbershop-y, fresh spiciness to it. Creed Viking is a fragrance that will appeal more to guys middle-aged and older. Younger guys probably not gonna swing for that one so much. And also it's pretty pricey. It's got pink pepper, mint, citrus, lavender clove, which you can pick out pretty early on. Vetiver as it dries down in this one as well. A lot of vetiver in this list. Aromatic, big green. It's a nice scent. I mean, it's one of those deals where you may smell it and be like, yeah, I mean, I've smelled some things kind of like that. And again, maybe it's a little too mature for some people, but the quality is there and it does fit in really well with what you would think of as a typical office fragrance. Vetiver again. Hemingway from Mask Milano. I know, vetiver. Don't worry, the ones coming up are not vetiver fragrances, so if you don't like vetiver, it's okay. See the atomizer on that one though? This had a magnetic cap. So right off the rip here, you've got ginger and rhubarb, and then it uses multiple facets, multiple forms of vetiver. So you're getting a nice full picture or fuller picture of what vetiver can do. It's a little dry, grassy, woody, almost has like a nuttiness to it as well when you smell it. So it's like taking vetiver and turning it into almost a like peanut buttery, woody, semi-edible take on how vetiver can come across with that fresh poppy opening. It's really nice. Follow that one up with K, Eau de Parfum from Dolce & Gabbana. Now, as far as the major fragrance brands, blue fragrance lines, K, it might be my least favorite. More specifically, the Eau de Toilette. I think the Eau de Parfum takes what the Eau de Toilette does and pretty much just improves it across the board. So if you're looking at a K, I would look at that one until they maybe come out with a new one, and maybe that one's better, who knows, maybe. The opening to this one is actually really good. Blood orange in there, juniper being one of the more prominent things that I pick up from both K fragrances. So it gives it this aromatic, fuzzy, kind of lightly gin-soaked feel to the scents. And this one has a good amount of fig that comes out as well, which gives it a unique twist. Clean woods in the dry down. You've got lavender in here, geranium, you know, some of your staples in men's fragrances. It's clean, it's easy to wear, people love it. And it does not sell as well as, you know, the really big blue fragrances out there. So it does have that going for it too, you know, a little uniqueness, at least as much as you could say from a line, a house as big as Dolce & Gabbana and K. It's big, but it's not as big, but it's still big. This is bigger. Y Eau de Parfum Intense. This is from Yves Saint Laurent, of course, the newest flanker in their highly successful Y line. Now, of course, you could go with Y Eau de Toilette. That would be a really nice one. That would fit in perfectly as well. Ginger, juniper, sage, woods, some of the notes in this one. It does have similarities to Y Eau de Parfum, but it's not as sweet, it's not as loud as Y Eau de Parfum, which I know maybe that doesn't make much sense because this is Y Eau de Parfum Intense, right? So it should take what Y Eau de Parfum does and amplify it, but that's not exactly what's going on here. As I said, it is still close to Y Eau de Parfum. If you smell them side by side, you can tell that they're related. But like I said, the sweetness is kind of pulled down a little bit and it's made a little bit more grown up. Still has really good longevity. Projection is nice as well. Projection is actually maybe a little louder on Y EDP than the Intense version, but it still is good. I mean, it still projects well, and like I said, it still lasts a very long time. Big compliment puller too. Now last, we're going with a twofer. So two fragrances from Ormond Jane. We've got Montalbano Verano right here, and Ivernia right here. So obviously, of these two, this is the fresher one. Montalbano Verano, really nice opening. Like the open of that is just enrapturing if you like fresh blue fragrances. A lot of citrus off the top here. And it's just a sparkling, sweet grapefruit. It smells awesome. As it dries down, you have cashmere in there, so a little fuzziness from that, some tobacco also actually in the far dry down, but it's not like a sweet pipe tobacco. It's like a tobacco leaf mixing with the clean leather. It's really well done and has great performance off my skin for a blue type fragrance. And then Ivernia is something completely different from that. Well, other than cashmere, and they both have that. So they both have that similar kind of fuzziness, which really, that's kind of a constant across Ormond Jane, a lot of the fragrances that they have. So this one's very clean as well. It has oak moss, it has rose in there, it has currant, pink pepper as well, along with some orris. It has like faint similarities to Ormond Man, but it's not as woody as Ormond Man is. It has a bit of a powderiness to it, similarity to Eccentric Molecules, Eccentric 05, same perfumer, did both. It just has a great wearability to it, and it's one that I think also has a really nice, classy edge. And that one will wrap up this list of technically 11. All of these, great longevity off my skin, all of them work in the office. And it's one of those things that I would put forward to you to say, some scents like Aros or Bad Boy Cobalt that don't ever get talked about as an office fragrance would make a fantastic one, as long as you don't douse yourself with so much that the Karen of the office comes for your head. You want to keep that in mind. Especially at some offices, I would rather wear maybe not quite enough to your liking than too much, because one of those, the worst thing that will happen is maybe people don't smell you as well, but the other one of those gets you called into the office and berated for wearing too much. I'd rather be like, I should have sprayed one more spray than, oh, I sprayed 5 sprays too many. I've been there before, trust me. Thank you guys for hanging with me. Stay safe out there. I'll see you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See y'all later.